A folklorist from County Wexford in Ireland is feeling a deep cultural connection to people in Branch, Newfoundland. Michael Fortune is spending the month of May in Branch with his family. That's where we have found him this afternoon. Michael Fortune, welcome to On the Go.
How are you doing, Zach?
I'm fabulous. Thank you very much for joining us. So what has drawn you, first of all, to the tiny community of Branch? Population around 230.
About 234 now, I think.
Oh, well.
The numbers are going up.
Watch out, they'll have to keep you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come here to me. Yeah, we're from County Wexford. Myself and my other half are from Wexford and the southeast of Ireland. And that was one of the main kind of centres where a lot of people from Newfoundland came from: Wexford, Waterford, South Kilkenny, South Tipperary, East Cork. And we were over here in 2006 and 2007, but we were kind of flying around. We never really got a chance to settle. So we said we were going to come back for a month. We're going to take our kids out of school and we're going to come here. And just to spend time here. And sure, listen, it's like as you've probably heard a million times before, it's 3,000 kilometres away from Wexford, and you're still in Wexford. So it's incredible, to be fair.
Now, Michael, of course, as you were saying, you're visiting family, you're sort of breathing the fresh air, but you are also a folklorist, and I know you can never really turn that off.
No.
And as you're listening, tell me about the discoveries that you're making as you speak with people in Branch.
Well, the first thing straight away is the dialect, the turn of phrase, loads of Gaelic words that would have survived, that would have been used in County Wexford. You'd still hear them in County Wexford, but you'll still hear them in everyday speech here. You'll also hear lovely old or Middle English words as well that would have kind of come over from the Wexford and Waterford. But we're, likewise, they're the words. Like, there's just word after word. Here, talking to the older people here, like, they'd use words like a breastney is sticks. There were little small bundles of sticks. That's pure Gaelic. And the thing is, these people had these words, and I know people collected stuff here in universities. Divine collected loads of words back here in the 1930s in Newfoundland, but they didn't know where they came from. And simply what we're doing is, I suppose with the help of technology like Facebook as well, we're simply joining dots. And I'm coming over here with my kind of my ear tuned into what the words and things that I'm after, and I'm able to say to them, listen, no, that's Irish, that's Middle English, came from Wexford. And, you can even pinpoint, certain families here. You can pinpoint whether relations are Wexford or Waterford. You can even know by the accents. And I'm sure that this is repeated. This is not just Branch. This is repeated as in a lot of other communities all over. Point Lance is the same, and I'm sure it's the same all over Newfoundland where the Irish settled. That same kind of pattern is there. But the well is so deep here, we can't go any further than here. We'll spend a month here. But like every day, Zach, I've got my phone in my pocket. I brought my big camera with me for interviews. I'll call to people's houses and chat to them and talk about things, and But sometimes you could be out, literally, you could be in a shop, or you could be meeting someone, and you have your phone in your pocket. Next time the phone comes out, so there's no turning off. It's constant, but it's lovely.
Michael, that's so wonderful. Can you go a few more? Give me some more examples, please.
I can give you loads of them. Come here to me. Here's a lovely word, a baldoon. I met a woman yesterday, she's in her 80s, and I was just chatting to her. It's great. You can lean into someone's car, and the people down here talk as much as we do in Wexford. And so even for them, I'll tell you what they say. They said, we can understand you, and I said, I can understand them. And if they go into St. John's, they're completely foreign, I was in a school today, and a teacher was saying to me, she said, I handy nearly killed myself, she says. I handy killed myself. And she said, I go into St. John's and they'd laugh at me. But we knew we'd use that term handy. To handy means almost. Words like Sleveen, that's straight from Ireland. We use that in Ireland still, meaning a bit of someone who's sly. A gommel is for kind of a fool. Again, probably your listeners might know this. Scrob, again, we use that at home. That's, again, direct Irish. Say if you get a scrob from a cat, or you get into a fight with someone to scrob the eyes of them. Tear, for meaning kind of like a re-raw, or a bit of a tear, like tearation, meaning a bit of you're in a bit of a tizzy. Mm-hmm. There's other words like rack for combing your hair. The old people would have used that here. My old father would have used it in Wexford. A rack for combing your hair, or to rack your hair, to say it. And even language structures. Even words to say, like, if people would meet you here, we've said, and what way are you, to say. Do you use that at all up in St. John's? Do you use that, what way are you, when you greet someone?
I've heard it before.
Yeah, that's direct English, direct Irish translated. That comes from King, Queen of Wilto, which is Irish. So when we would have learned the English language, we would have learned it directly, word for word, from our Irish language. So it didn't make sense in the English language, in the structure of the English words, but it made sense in ours. So we hung on to those, and needless to say, you're hanging on to them down here as well. We're in the school today, a little one came up with the word oxter, Middle English word. You only really get it in Wexford. Lovely other words as well. Use in Newfoundland, use the word, even down in Branch, use some for very. You use some hot today or some cold today.
Yeah.
Only one place in Ireland I know that uses some is in South Wexford. You use the word biz. You hear people saying, and again you'd be corrected for not talking proper English. You say, I biz in St. John's shopping on Saturday, or I biz downtown.
Yeah.
Wexford town is the only place in Ireland I know that says the word biz again. So we're just, we can't believe we're overwhelmed. I have to run out of hard drive space on the computer already.
Michael, how does it make you feel inside, in your heart, in your internal hard drive, to hear all these familiar words and phrases?
It's incredible, and there's something special. Like you don't feel foreign. That's one of your things. You don't feel foreign in Branch. And you can see it in the people too, and you can see that look in. You can see it, especially the older people. They're Irish, really. They're from Newfoundland, but they're Irish underneath it, and that longing is there. And I know, so you can sense it, and there's a complete ease. And what's really interesting, Zach, as well, I find, I'd be going in houses as well, looking at even the domestic aesthetic, where you'd put like a Sacred Heart picture, especially for the Catholic community, where you'd put Blessed Palm, where you'd put certain things. And the really queer thing is, right, historically, like for example, there's certain things that came over, right, but there's other things that you do here, that we do, but they're just learned, and I can't put my finger on it. For example, one place in Wexford, people get Blessed Palm at Easter, and the old people were afraid of electricity in Ireland when they first came, and you'd always see Blessed Palm by the fuse box in the house. And I was in a man's house tonight getting dinner, and I was walking out and I noticed Blessed Palm by the fuse box, and I'm after spotting it in so many houses now. Now that didn't come over with the Irish 200 years ago, but still that same mentality is there. And there's a few other things I've noticed like that as well. Something religious by telephone. Again, the old people in Wexford always say that, and again that's completely new. So there's something else inside there that you can't put your finger on, aside from the accent and the language. There's something else in there that's something, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it's something tangible, again, for those sorts of aesthetics to evolve independently, but in the exact same direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
Michael, it's funny that you're over here hearing all of these phrases and words still in usage, but what is happening to this language back home in Wexford, in Ireland?
People use it. We're all in a situation now. There's a globalized world. People are picking up YouTube accents. Years ago, even people were changing their surnames to sound like they were to fit in. I'll use the surname thing as an example. Whatever, this idea of changing how we are and who we are to fit into some other ideal that's it's only an ideal. And I suppose we're all facing now in a globalised world, whatever. I think in Ireland we're slowly beginning to realise that, listen, if we don't have a sense of who we are, a sense of our own accents and all those things that make us different, I'd hate to live in a world where we're all the same, and what's special, whatever. And that's what I kind of keep saying. We're in and out of schools here in St. Bride's here, and we're saying, isn't it great to have your own accent? Isn't it great to have your own words if you go to St. John's? Again, as I said, the world would be an awful boring place if we're all the same. And I find that as well, like with the surnames here, I've heard from the older people, their surnames changed. Their surnames changed going to school. Like you had the surname Power, and the old people would have always said Poor or Power, and that was the local pronunciation, but it became Power. And certain names changed, and that happened a little bit at home as well. Just through, through education, I suppose, and development. But I don't live in the past. I operate in full colour, and I kind of that's why if we started trying to preserve things and kind of in notions of black and white in the past, we have nothing. So I understand how layers move and change, and and that's how it happens. Like we were down here. There's one lovely thing that you do here down in Point Lance. There's a woman called Catherine Conway did it in her 80s. You put up, and I'm sure there's other parts in Newfoundland do it as well. But you put up a May tree come the 1st of May. That was direct import from Ireland. We put up the May bush, or May tree in certain parts. In Wexford, we put up a May bush at the 1st of May. And we put it up in the school with the kids here there a week ago. So, we can try to teach them like through a curriculum, or we can actually just get out putting it up. And we were kind of showing the difference between your May tree and our May bush, but the similarities are there. Like even your mum to Christmas. We were in school today talking about Halloween, and that whole guys and mum tradition. We grew up with that. You know, that Christmas mummers you have here are going out calling the house to house for a drink or a bit of food, straight out of County Wexford, straight out of other parts of Ireland as well. But Wexford, our parents did it. We dressed up, and you know, especially if you lived in a rural area, any chance to get out and socialise, whatever, or just have a bit of crack. Halloween was the same. We brought that straight over. But you know, like my mother used to get dressed up in Halloween mask. She'd have a pound shop mask made in China. She'd have a pair of stockings in her hands or a pair of wellies. But that's it. That's how they exist. You know, it exists with all the new layers. And just come here. I could talk for hours, you know, about it. But you know, I'll be honest with you.
Michael, I could chat with you all day about this too, and I'm with you. I think, you know, I agree. None of us can live in the past, but we would all be much poorer if we were to forget it. So I really appreciate that there are people like you out there in the world preserving these connections and making sure they're not lost to time. Again, I could chat with you all day. Let's give me another call when you get back to Ireland with this treasure trove of film and audio recordings. Let me know what people back home think of the way we sound.
I'll tell you what, I'll end with this. Go to my Facebook page and go to Folklore.ie on Facebook, Folklore.ie on Facebook. And that's where I'm sharing stuff. And again, this is a great tool, whatever, it's only a social media tool. There's people in Ireland, thousands of people in Ireland watching and listening to what I'm recording already. And likewise, and it's just a great, easy way to share and learn from each other.
I'm looking at your site right now. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to get in here and explore, Michael. Thank you for joining us, and please enjoy the rest of your trip.
Will do. Thanks, William. Take care.
Thank you so much. Michael Fortune, Irish folklorist who is visiting the community of Branch during the month of May with his family. Again, if you want to check out his website, learn more about his work, it really is just the way he sounded it, Folklore.ie. I can't wait to take a poke around in here.